It's 2 a.m. You're staring at a screen, running entirely on fumes, wondering why trying to get ahead feels like falling behind. Darren Cox's framework, Transform Your Life in 6 Months, is built on the 180-day window. He argues that 4,320 hours is the duration required for a new behavior to transition from a grueling conscious effort to an automated default setting. But look at the calendar. 90% of people who set massive goals of January 1st have abandoned them by the second week of February. They start with an intense rush of energy, hit their first bad week, and stop. That rush of energy is the problem. Motivation is a variable emotion. It fluctuates based on how much sleep you got or how your last meeting went, making it a poor foundation for long-term change. The true barrier to a changed life is usually a structural failure. Without a reliable, automated system, you are forced to make a fresh decision to be productive every single morning, which is where most people eventually run out of willpower. I know exactly what you're thinking. You're skeptical. You've likely seen dozens of guides promising that waking up at dawn will solve your problems through sheer positive thinking. Cox's framework requires a heavy structural trade. You have to dismantle the reactive default of your current routine and replace it with a rigid, meticulously planned daily infrastructure. Attempting to overhaul your diet, sleep, finances, and career simultaneously carries a significant risk. For most professionals, this level of sudden change leads to a hard wall of burnout within the first 48 hours. So today, we are stripping away the marketing. We are going to analyze the actual logistics, the physical demands, and the social trade-offs required to maintain this 180-day protocol. The motivation cycle on the left relies on feelings, inevitably looping back to quitting. The system cycle on the right uses physical changes to make correct actions easier. In practice, this means moving your phone charger to the bathroom and placing gym shoes on your laptop. When your environment is preset, you remove the need to debate yourself. You achieve daily consistency because the decision has already been made by your physical setup. This method is remarkably boring. It requires unglamorous, repetitive front-loading of effort every single night while you're tired, just to ensure the next morning runs according to plan. Success in this protocol comes from trading the temporary high of a motivational burst for the mundane, effective reality of strict daily logistics. A perfectly designed environment fails if your body is broken. Cox argues that high-level mindset shifts are impossible if your brain is struggling to function inside an exhausted, sedentary frame. The protocol demands a specific biological input, 30 minutes of physical activity and 500 milliliters of water before you touch your phone. This forces a rapid physiological shift. Increasing blood flow and rehydrating your organs provides a hard chemical reset, giving your brain the baseline energy required to process the day's complex problems. You will feel the time friction immediately. This requires sacrificing 30 minutes of sleep or leisure. For the first 2 weeks, your body will rebel, requiring you to push through physical fatigue before the energy benefits kick in. Prioritizing physical health at 5 a.m. serves a functional purpose. It builds the biological stamina required to maintain a 6-month cognitive workload. Beyond your morning routine, you must build defensive systems. These are specific habits designed to shield your limited energy and capital from external drains. The social audit is the most difficult step. It involves setting boundaries with people who encourage habits that derail your progress, such as saying no to expensive weekend outings that conflict with your sleep schedule. The financial audit follows the same logic. You automate a 20% pay yourself first rule, routing your savings into a separate account the moment your paycheck arrives, before any lifestyle spending can occur. These systems create friction. You will experience social pushback from those who prefer your old habits, and you'll have to operate on a strictly limited amount of disposable income for 6 months. Reclaiming your mental bandwidth and financial agency requires you to be comfortable with being the difficult friend in the short term to secure your long-term independence. Looking at the book objectively, many of these theories draw heavily from established concepts like atomic habits. However, Cox's specific contribution is the integration of these habits into a rigid 180-day timeline. This matrix shows how to determine if this specific 6-month manual is the right tool for your current situation. If you are in the bottom right quadrant, meaning you already have high execution readiness, you should skip this book. You likely already know the theory and are using the act of reading as a way to delay taking action. But if you're in the top right quadrant, feeling stuck in a cycle of reactive blaming, this book provides the step-by-step logistics required to pull yourself into a proactive state. Cox's work functions as a logistical field guide, relying on the predictable outcomes of repeated, boring actions. It only works if you are willing to commit to a highly structured baseline. The calendar moves forward at the same rate regardless of your choices. In 6 months, 180 days will have passed for everyone. By day 180, you will be looking at a different set of daily results, based on whether you chose to run a system or remain in a reactive state. What is the one environmental change you are making tonight to protect your output tomorrow? Share that change with comments. If you want more evidence-based guides on these systems, subscribe and hit the like button. Bridging the distance between your current routine and your long-term goals requires a structural shift in your environment. Go build your system.